talk. It's time to rock. We're sorry. We're late, ladies and gentlemen. The reason why we're late is we had to wait for the rock professor to iron his plaid shirt. It was really important that he got the creases out of that shirt that he's going to model for everybody.
I'll put them in.
I'm
Put the creases in. No, out.
He ironed the creases in to make it look working class. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. There's the rock professor.
The rock professor in my plaid shirt. Hope you like it, kids, especially for you. In honour of the mighty Rory Gallagher. And I got my strat out as well. My
you have to show
my brown
that
strat. I'm going to show that later.
Got you good, didn't I? Got you good, eh, Simon?
Excellent. I just want you to know that's the effort I put into this show. You see, I've thought about it. I've got my shirt on. I've got my guitar out. I'm ready.
Oh my gosh!
I'm in
good
character.
To see you. Good to see. So hey, we're method musicians here. We're method. we're method
method YouTubers. What does that mean?
Well, God help us when Brad gets into slash mode. He'll have bottles. He'll have these bimbos behind him.
Top hat. Yes.
Got you good, bro. Oh my gosh.
Hey. Oh, hello. We've all got pasts, Brad. Don't worry. Any musician has got a past, haven't they? You know, something, things they did. Oh, you know, yeah. I've reached a stage where now it doesn't matter what it is. If somebody says to me, "Can you play guitar on this?" I will do it. You know, even if it's Joseph's amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat for a primary school production, or if it's my kids doing a show. What did they do? I can't remember. They did, you know, one of those things. And somebody says, "Can you play guitar on it?" Yeah, fine. So, you know, I can't do anything. Joseph's amazing Technicolor, right up my street.
It's good to see the rock professor here, and obviously Brad all the way from Melbourne, Australia, and I'm from New Zealand. Simon is somewhere in the UK, somewhere.
The Northern Hemisphere.
We can't reveal where he is. We can't reveal.
Could I say, reveal. Thank you, Kurt, for nearly reading out my address.
Yes!
Thanks.
Yeah.
That's probably enough.
That was funny.
That's probably enough to get you to my house, to be honest.
Yeah, that was a nice gesture. We look forward to receiving, hopefully. Well, we don't know. We don't know. Maybe
2 weeks tomorrow. I don't know where they are.
I've got something going on, and Brad and I, we're just, you know, that's okay.
No, if only. I ain't got time for
that. So what we're going to do, ladies and gentlemen, we've got a couple of things lined up, obviously, that we have to do before we start the show. Is Simon freezing? It's okay. So we just want to do a shout out to everybody that joined us yesterday on the 5150 show. We had a great time with Nerd Halen and the Rev. It was fantastic. We did part 2 of Live Without a Net. We look forward to the next 5150 show in 2 weeks' time. So sub to the channel and keep up with that information. I'll throw some Instagram account links on the screen very soon. Simon's got the presentation for this week's Rankin the Tracks. Look forward to that. But before we do that, we're going to get Brad to talk about a big event, something that's very close to the show. We've done a couple of albums already on this band. And then before that, Simon's going to jump into the chat and say g'day to everybody.
Yep.
And we'll start the show.
Yes. Yeah. So good morning to Nelson and Sonia. Good morning, Sonia. And Ellen. Good morning, Ellen. And I've got Arvin as well. Morning, Arvin. And I noticed we've got some people just joined, which Tim Thomas, a name I've not seen before. So hi, Tim. Welcome. to our little show. We've got Johnny. Morning, Johnny Bean. Johnny Bean's doing a Johnny Bean raid apparently, which we're clearly not prepared for. Crappy Luxury. Good morning, Crappy Luxury, and Simon Hosford as well.
Hey, Simon.
Hi, Simon. Thanks for joining us again.
Simon. Thanks for joining us. Yeah, good to see you. Good to see you all.
Yeah.
So, thanks all for joining, and we'll crack on. Brad.
Yeah, well, before we get too far, I just want to say another big thanks to the Rev, Kurt, for giving me this wonderful little pitch box. I've had a lot of fun with it. I haven't had a chance to get too close to it yet, but it's amazing, and I just want to be a bit of a shout out to Kurt. Thank you so much, bro. That's extremely kind, and it's amazing to think. I don't even know how long we've had you on the 5150 show now, bro, but you're like part of the family. We've never actually met in person, so just to show all the these things bring like-minded souls together, and extremely kind gesture. And the more I think about it, the more it warms my heart. So thank you.
One day we're going to have a Bebs con, British Electric Blues Show con somewhere in the middle of the world where we can all get to.
We'll have to. Let's just all go to Andrew's house. We'll all bunk there, and we'll just Andrew could put up with us. He's got plenty of guitars for us sort of jam on and stuff. So
yeah, that's right. See, morning, Jimmy Ray Hawkins. Good morning. You good?
Yeah. But so thank you again, Kurt. That was very nice gesture. And I encourage everyone to go check them out. They're fantastic. I think Andrew's just ordered one, haven't you?
Yeah, bro. I saw that YouTube clip by that guy Tannis when it first came out, and didn't do much about it, because mainly I get my VH tones through my Yamaha THR30, but I've got my Marshall there, and after you playing it and hearing the difference, and then watching that video again, I thought, well, for $100 for a pedal, because anything closer to that, like the PS6 Boss, is about $300, and the new one that's coming out, the red one that's coming out, that's like $700, $800. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's excellent. I'm actually going to have a bit of a play with it. I'm going to try it through a few different methods of like loop effects and everything as well, see if that makes a big difference. But I'll let you guys know how I go with it.
Can't wait, brother.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you could tell us. Yeah, I didn't really quite understand what it does, but
yeah, I mean, it kind of gives you that
stereo.
The simple way to put it is, if you listen to say the Unlawful Carnal Knowledge record, where he's got that sort of pitch shifting sort of going on. It's like a chorusing effect, but it's not chorusing. Kind of that's what this has got. 3 modes on it. I haven't tried the harmony mode. The pitch shift I haven't tried. I've only tried it on the detune, so it's -2 on the detune, and you get the instant carnal knowledge balance sort of guitar tone. It's great.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
So basically this week we lost a hero of the channel, someone really important to blues rock, not British Electric Blues, but we've done a little bit of a show on ZZ Top, and my heart was broken the other night to find out that Dusty Hill passed away. So I just thought it'd be a good opportunity to just take a couple of minutes or two just to sort of remember Dusty. He's a massive part of ZZ Top, and obviously been 52 years in ZZ Top, the longest standing band that I can think of with the original lineup.
And they were, absolutely, they were, yeah.
And, iconic group, from the very start, their first album, all the way through to current days, everything they've released, I've pretty much got. I've been a massive fan, and so rest in peace, Dusty. 72 years of age. Very sad.
That's no age.
But you find that it's. I mean, I guess from trying to think of it from a positive spin, he played his last gig 2 days before he passed away, so at least he got to go out doing sort of what he loved doing. But
yeah, that's pretty good, isn't it? That's pretty good. Yeah.
But they've currently got a tour booked, and he had to, he had to go home. I don't know. I think he had something like a hip surgery or something to do with his hip. And the last gig he played, he was actually sitting down the whole gig. So obviously not in a very good state. But you can look there, and he was a player all through and through, and I think music kept him young. And I do say this to people daily, that you get involved in music, whether you're playing an instrument or whatever. It keeps you young, keeps you, it's there's something about music that will always keep your spirit alive. Everything that these guys have ever done, I've loved it. It's just there's Billy Gibbons there, Frank Beard, obviously the beardless one, and I encourage everyone to, after our show today, go put on some ZZ Top, or go watch Little Old Band from Texas on Netflix or whatever, and you'll see how much of a lovely guy he was. And I think his heart and soul was ZZ Top, without a doubt. So I'm wearing my Eliminator t-shirt. So there you go.
Yeah.
Awesome, bro. Great tribute. Thank you for that. We've got something in the pipeline, whether or not it's going to be a midweek special or maybe a Sunday show on ZZ Top. We'll talk about where we're going to slot that in, the three of us. But yeah, as Brad said, big part of our shows, and Simon, would recognise that too, because he's been blown away over the years by the guitar playing of Billy Gibbons, and it's been backed up by a solid rhythm section.
And that's the point, isn't it? That they, that kind of telepathy that you develop over 50 years of playing together, and there's a little bit of magic in that, and is really the thing. It's a thing you can't put your finger on, but it's definitely there.
Well, yeah, he'll forever be sort of remembered for Shuffling Sea.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But they're apparently going to carry on, aren't they? He said to them, "Carry on."
I think I believe that obviously their tour has to continue, otherwise so they've got his guitar tech of 20 or 30 years filling in for him.
Francis. Do you seem? And he dressed up. Did he have? I don't know. It looked like in the video I saw it was a false beard.
No, it's his beard.
Is it a beard? Is it? Yeah. I've seen him in the past, and he doesn't have a beard.
No, he kind of through lockdown he let his beard grow.
Oh, did he?
Yeah. On stage, Billy went up and pulled. But I must give props to like Billy and Frank for continuing to their commitments. I mean, it must be hard for them to walk on stage 2 days after their brothers passed away and play. So, and they're not young guys. They're not young guys. They know that basically, things need to kick on, because if once you get to that age, I think you deserve the right to be able to continue on and play until the day you go. If that makes sense. Yeah, that's your role. That's all you know. So,
well, Billy Gibbons has been in the last 5 years. He's done a lot of other. He's done the other band stuff, hasn't he? He's had that other band. He's put out solo records. So I feel like he's and he's appeared in all sorts of things doing what he does. I feel like there's a sort of momentum with him, that he's sort of carrying on in a way that he's decided, I'm a musician, I better go out and play, and if things are on hiatus with ZZ Top or whatever, but in between that, I'm going to do other stuff. I'm going to crack on, and I feel he's got that, he's been on a roll for the last, 3 or 5 years, and so I think it's a very interesting topic, that, isn't it? About at what point does it become not the band, and do you stop and things? I don't see why ZZ Top should stop, to be honest. If they've got, they get the right person in to play, and they got, if Elwood Francis is going to do it because he's been around for 25 years or whatever, he's looking after their gear, that then that's the somebody from within the camp, if you like, sort of takes it on. substituting this week for. And I think that's right, that they carry on, Still want to go and see him, wouldn't you? Yeah, still Billy Gibbons, still Frank.
Yeah. Well, I'm grateful I went to see ZZ Top, when they came to Australia. I think it was a few years ago now. I saw them the last time, and man, you just got to give them credit where credit's due. They were the badass little trio from Texas that just no one sounded like them, So, and to this day, I don't think anyone's as cool as the guys in ZZ Top. So there you go.
But also, the key thing is they remain true to their own vision, haven't they? They've done the thing that they do, which I think is really cool.
They're authentic, mate. They played the blues, but the first time I heard ZZ Top, I was hooked, and that was it.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't remember not hearing them, to be honest. But I've had Fandango for hundreds of years and stuff.
Yeah. So thanks, guys, for letting me do that.
No worries. No, it's worthy of note.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. So today's show,
all about the man from Ballyshannon. There we are. That's what we're doing, Mr. Rory Gallagher. To introduce him, ladies and gentlemen, Rory Gallagher. Which I think sums it up, really, doesn't it? Just straightforward. I'll just introduce you. Just say your name. Never mind the greatest rock and roll band in the land, or whatever else you can come up with. Yeah, pound for pound, sound for sound, there ain't no finer band around, kind of thing. Nope, straight ahead. So I thought I'd do a quick background to Rory, because I think it's worthy of just putting that down. So he was born in Donegal in 1948, Ballyshannon, and his parents were players and singers. His father played an accordion, in a Ceilidh band. I presume you guys know what a Ceilidh is, like a dance band, sort of country dance, Scottish or Irish band, played for people to dance to. And his mother Monica was a singer and acted with the Abbey Players in Ballyshannon. So Rory got his first guitar at 9, and he'd already played on the ukulele. So he's obviously something a bit of a prodigy for picking up stringed instruments. Interestingly, and I've talked about this before, he was initially attracted to skiffle. And as Andrew will know, because we've talked about this, maybe not with you on shows, but one of my things is that guitar musical booms come out of things that are simple to play. Yeah. So skiffle is a really, Lonnie Donegan and all of that is a very, you could have an acoustic guitar and a T-chest bass. T-chest you could get from the local grocer's shop down the road for free, and a washboard and stuff. So you don't need to spend any money on equipment because it's cheap, and you can make music with it. And I think that's why in the mid '50s there were like 80,000 skiffle bands in the UK, because all the kids. Jimmy Page, there's that famous thing of Jimmy Page, age 12, playing skiffle. So all those bands that came in the '60s, they started off playing skiffle because they could, because it's like a sort of DIY ethos, and then it progresses and it gets into the '60s, and the next one after that was punk, of course. Which went back to the basic 3 chords, recording yourself, putting out singles, doing it all yourself kind of thing, that kind of DIY ethos. So, that I think, inspires, it gets people interested. The thing about being in a band is you've got to be able to play a song, haven't you? And if I take it to the other extreme, and this is clearly an extreme, is if your first song was "I'm going to play Eruption," you'd be there for some time, wouldn't you? before you could go and play it. It's a ridiculous extreme. Well, I'm not suggesting, but you should. That's kind of clearly happened in the '50s, and again, the Beatles came out of that as well. The Stones, You know, they all had that background in skiffle when they were kids that attracted them and said, you can make a noise with the guitar, and it doesn't have to be really complicated. You know, it's not difficult jazz stuff. It's 2 chords, and you can do Rock Island Line. You know, as the thing. So Rory into that via skiffle, which is like lots of other people, and you know, and listening to rock and roll, of course. Rock and roll still kind of 3 chords and things. Buddy Holly, Eddie Cochran, and but also discovering influences such as Woody Guthrie, Big Bill Broonzy, Leadbelly, you know, acoustic guitar players as well. And I think that, you know, the iconic Strat, you know, the Strat with no finish on it, is the iconic vision of Rory. But, you know, as we'll see with this record, and as you know, that acoustic side, that acoustic blues side, is very strong with Rory, and absolutely part of his thing. So he also learned to play alto sax, bass, mandolin, banjo, and the choral sitar with varying degrees of proficiency. So well done. And then in his teens, he joined show bands in Ireland. They had things called show bands. So he went round to entertain. Frozen? No, I'll come back. That's right. Sorry, I froze a bit. Don't know what I was right. So yeah, but he played in what they call Irish show bands, which they had their repertoire from all sorts of, you know, mainstream pop things to you know, traditional Irish stuff. So it was quite sort of quite conservative and things, and even getting things like Chuck Berry in was quite revolutionary. Probably doesn't feel like that now, but it was quite revolutionary then for, you know, for them. And I know in later things once he got into, he had a group called The Impact, you know, and they started to play some Chuck Berry and things. But he decided in '66 that he was going to form his own band, which was Taste. So, and he formed, you know, clearly a 3-piece, and that was the formula really for Rory. You know, he had a keyboard player for about 4 years in the mid '70s, but pretty much Rory operated as a 3-piece, not, you know, the power trio. That was his thing, and he made 10 albums in the '70s, you know, one of which we're going to discuss today. Two live albums, because I think live was his forte. You know, live is where he really was at home. You know, very kind of simple stuff. I watched on YouTube. There's a brilliant kind of color sort of documentary of him playing in a theatre in Ireland. But, you know, no backdrop, nothing. You know, just a couple of amps. You know, and off he went. You know, and small PA, nothing too drastic. You know, in with his Vox AC30. That was his thing. And off he, you know, just went and played. And I think that was Rory all over, really. You know, that's how he worked, that's how he played. And I was thinking when I was watching it, you know, welcome to the early 1970s, because that's what, you know, not many bands had backdrops. You know, just had a PA, amps, you know, get on stage, play. It's all about the music, all about the playing. So, and as I'm sure we're all aware, he was he kind of semi-auditioned for the Rolling Stones in '75 after Mick Taylor, but decided against it. I don't know whether they offered him the job. Did they offer him the job, Andrew? Do you know if they actually offered it to him, or he just went and jammed with them? I think, but he seemed to be happy with his solo career. Not really wanted. And I think the thing about, you know, his diffidence and stuff, and, you know, his shyness and his, you know, hid that kind of thing about, clearly wants to be the band leader. You know, I'm the guitar player and the singer. That's what I do. And you wouldn't really have done that in the Rolling Stones, would you? You'd have been the side man. You know, Mick would have done the singing, and you'd have been second fiddle to Mick, really. You know, to Keith rather. You know, doing it. So
yeah, you know, an Irishman in an English band's always going to cause problems, isn't it?
What you mean? So just we'll talk a little bit about his Stratocaster Brad, I don't know if you agree. You were going to cover this, Brad, or
no.
me doing it. That's fine.
Hold on. Well, if you give me a second, I'll get the
pictures.
Up. Hold on.
I'll get the pictures up. Yeah, because it's a tremendous. If people don't know it in the chat, apologies if you do. But the interesting story about his Strat that's pretty cool, really. Yeah, I can even tell you it was basically in 1961 Sunburst Strat, serial number 64351 for all you collectors of Fender numbers out there. Basically, it was reputed to be there it is, look, with hardly any finish on it. But, it was basically the first one in Ireland, and it was ordered by Jim Connolly, who was a member of something called the Irish Show Band in 61. He ordered a cherry red Strat through Crowley's music shop of Cork, but Fender shipped a Sunburst instead, and so he didn't like it. Connolly, he wanted the red one. So he put it up for sale second hand in 1963. Hardly would have been such a thing. It was and Rory bought it in August 63 for just under £100, which I think those days was a lot of money, and apparently his dream ambition was to have a guitar like Buddy Holly, and his mother used to say to him, "We'll be in debt for the rest of our lives paying this off." 3 and 6 a week or whatever on the Never Never. To which Rory replied, "Well, actually, with a guitar like that, I can play both parts, rhythm and lead, so we won't need a rhythm player, so I can earn more money, pay it off." I don't know. So, as you can see, virtually all the finish has been stripped away because apparently he had very acidic sweat due to a blood condition. And he made quite a lot of modifications to it as well. He put a 5-way switch in for starters. He had that done. He disconnected the bottom tone pot and rewired it, so he had a master control, tone control with all the things, and he changed the pick guard, and only the middle pickup is original. The others are not original. I don't know whether they rotted away or whatever, but he kept, although it looked like it got battered, he did, he kept it up. So he changed the nut regularly apparently, and and the tuning pegs were replaced as well. So he clearly wanted it to be the proper instrument that was going to work, and not just have an instrument that gradually fell apart in his hands and get another one. I admire a man who has. It's one of the great questions, isn't it? Could you survive with one guitar? Well, clearly Rory could survive with one guitar, no problems at all. That one. The other thing I talk about a bit is that although he wasn't the biggest musician in the 70s, he could fill the Colston Hall, which is a 2,000-seater hall in my hometown of Bristol. And as you say, they played Cream Farewell, and they played on what did they supported? Who did they support on North America? Was it Blind Faith or something? But, wasn't it? They supported him as well. But his legacy, his influence spread over lots of players, particularly The Edge from U2 has said, and Adam Clayton. They both said, we picked up guitars because of Rory, because we saw Rory in the 70s. And, of course, famously, Brian May used to hang around the Marquee Club when Taste had a presidency there, and was sort of asking Rory, how do you get your sound, And Brian May said that Rory was great. He would just, he would talk to you, he was fine. He never always had time to talk to you and show them what he did, with his treble booster, Rangemaster treble booster, and his Vox AC30. Funnily enough, Brian May's got a Vox AC30 with his own homemade guitar, so that makes it
50 of them.
But, yeah, has he got 50 of them? Has he? What? The Rangemaster
150. He's got a lot of them.
Everyone he easy buys just to keep him going. But yeah, so it's kind of his influence across lots of people. Alex Lifeson from Rush, James D. Bradfield from the Manic.
Well, we've lost him. We're just getting into the juicy stuff.
Yeah. So if you guys haven't already subscribed to our Instagram channels, please do. If you look on the bottom there, you'll see them flying by at a rate of knots. I'll spell them out for you guys. Brad Cook Music, really easy. Follow Brad there, please. It's really important if you keep up with what we do here, but also what Brad's doing over there, which is pretty cool. So he's doing a lot of stuff on his channel. Also, Simon Williams, 33. Easy.
Yep.
Kurt S, 5150. Easy. And I happen to have as a good friend of our channel too, bro, isn't he? That's Michael. So if you can subscribe to those guys, you'll find me on their Instagram channels too. And if you have a look also, guys, we've got Nightbot rocking and rolling for us. And if you guys have any channels or anything that you want us to put on our Nightbot for your channels, we'll do that. Just message me or Brad, and we'll get it up to play. Sorry, Simon.
Sorry, I got hurled off summarily.
It's okay. It's okay. You were just up to the good bits, so please continue.
Yeah. So I was just saying about his influence really and stuff, and I think his influence spread wider than possibly his record sales and his sort of his renown make him. But I don't think it ever got stolen, Marvin. I don't think so. It's currently owned by his brother Donald, and it comes out occasionally. People play it. Joe Bonamassa famously played it in 2011, I think, at the Albert Hall. Got out and started both nights. Just for a bit of fun, guys. I found this before, but this is a rider, Rory Gallagher's rider, and there's a couple of tickets there. I don't know if you can see it there. Okay. For the Colson Hall in Bristol. Now, one of these I went to, and I honestly cannot remember which one it was, to be honest. But you can see, I don't know if you can see, tickets, 80 pence. They are not even £1. They are 80 pence. His rider consisted of one crate of Guinness, one crate of lager, one bottle of Irish whiskey, and suitable mixes. And there we are. Never mind your M&Ms without the brown ones or anything like that. That's
like a true Irishman,
a true Irish trooper, and I think that's really what you say about Rory, isn't it? That he he was a trooper. He went out and he played for the people. And as I say, I remember when I went to see him, he was still playing with the house lights up. Still going, house lights up, and I think he used to finish the Colson Hall. He used to finish like 10:30. It was like finish date. He was still going at 11:15. No probs. So drenched in sweat, plaid shirt, plaid shirt. Yeah, amazing guy. And Quentin, good morning. The man, the Louisville loony. That's all the food groups doing right, absolutely. So we move on to our album of the week, which is as we said, live in Europe. This was the first live album. He'd made two studio albums before this, and recorded in various places in Europe, round Europe, and not specifically. They're not taken from any one gig. They're just taken from different ones. But I have a funny story about this. The first time I heard this record, I went out jumper, sweater shopping with a friend of mine. In fact, he lives in Melbourne. Brad, he called Tony Bainbridge. He lives in Melbourne now, but he used to go rowing. Right, he used to be a rower, and he had really big forearms. And we went into this shop, and he tried on, must have been every jumper in the shop, whilst I sat there and listened to all four sides of Rory Gallagher live in Europe, which is kind of my introduction, age 15, to Rory Gallagher, particularly. So that's where I came in with it as a thing. So the album we discussed today, so rather than live versions of his most popular songs, there are only 2 songs that were previously recorded by him on the studio albums, Laundromat and In Your Town. All the others are Gallagher's versions of classic blues songs, things that he did. As we'll see, a lot of variety in the album and stuff, which I think surprised people a bit, because as I say, you think of him as being the iconic blues Strat player, but there's a lot more to it than this. He's got bass player Jerry McAvoy and drummer Wilgar Campbell, who played on the first couple of albums, but, before he was replaced by Rod Diath from, I think, a little bit later. But guys, when did you first get into Rory? When did you first cross your paths?
Andrew.
Brad.
Oh, okay.
Brad.
I'm trying to be polite, and Andrew's been polite too, so I'll take it. Rory, for me, came a bit later. I was into Johnny Winter and listening to a lot of blues. Like for Johnny Winter, I was listening to a lot of James Gang and everything. Like someone goes to me,
yeah,
and go and have a listen to Rory Gallagher. You'll connect with it because it's very similar. And when we get to the track rankings, I'm going to sort of bring up a couple of these little sort of things that make me remind me of Johnny Winter and Joe Walsh and Jimmy Pat. Like I can hear a lot of that influence there. They all influenced each other, obviously. But so what I'm getting at is I came into Rory Gallagher's music a bit later than I did, say, Johnny Winter and even Clapton and stuff like that. But people would say to me, "Oh, if you like Clapton, go and check out Rory Gallagher as well," and whatnot. So basically, I got into Rory Gallagher, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 years after playing guitar, sort of thing. It wasn't immediately. It was something a bit later. But it was through listening to blues music and Johnny Winter especially. I was listening to a lot of Johnny Winter at the time, and someone goes, "Hey man, this just reminds me of like Johnny Winter." And I couldn't really see. I could see the similarity with certain things, especially the way the band sounded, if that makes sense. Not necessarily his playing, but his slide playing, yes. But that was my introduction to Rory anyway. And I'm really glad you picked this one because I haven't listened to this album for a long time. So it was really good to revisit it. Andrew.
Yeah, similar experience to you, bro. I think I was in my late 20s when I first consciously became aware of Rory Gallagher. You know what it's like when you go somewhere, you're in a social situation, a new work environment, you check out the cats who are into music because they're the real ones. They're the only people that you really want to talk to, So you check these people out, you sponge off them and you share a bit of information. I remember talking to a cat about how I loved Stevie Ray Vaughan, and he mentioned to me, "Have you checked out Rory Gallagher?" I said, No. Went and got the Irish tour, I think, on CD and got blown away by it. Edgy, raw music, which contrasted pretty well the music that I was listening to. So instantly attracted to it, loved it.
Yeah.
I mean, the other thing I think is interesting that he was playing and developing kind of. He's the person who doesn't fit the. Everyone follows Eric Clapton by getting a Les Paul and a Marshall, in a sense. You know what I mean? There's a certain element. He's him and Hendrix, but he was doing it. I think he had the Strat before Hendrix, so he goes the Strat and the Vox route, not the Les Paul, and sticks with that. Interesting, which I think is proof he's his own man, kind of thing,
Oh, yeah, in 72, Melody Maker named him Guitar Player Musician of the Year ahead of Clapton. So, clearly the guy had some chops.
Yeah. Absolutely, yeah. So, shall we get into ranking the tracks? We're talking about...
let's do it.
Okay, so we have the opening track is a track called "Messing with the Kid," which is originally done by Junior Wells. It's definitely more of a rock version than the Junior Wells version. Yeah, thanks, Crappy. That's a good tip. We'll check that out. So, and welcome to Drop's Family Garden. Not a name I recognise, but I think Nelson has come across them before. So, welcome to you.
He's been
on before. Oh, okay. Yeah. I need to pay more attention or have better memory. Tricky. So, so Messing with the Kid, more of a rock version than the Junior Wells one. I think that the very simple introduction, ladies and gentlemen, Rory Gallagher, is all you need. Is everything you need to know about Rory, really, isn't it? There's no hyperbole, there's no flash, and no arrogance, there's no showbiz. It's just announce the name, and I'll come on and I'll get on with it. And I think if you've watched any film of him, I've been obviously watching some films in play. It's like when he plays like electricity going through, it's kind of like his whole body kind of shakes like he's been electrified by it, which is fantastic. But the classic thing, and I think that that clearly upbeat, up tempo number to start, which is what you'd expect. Guitar riff, drums, and then off with his impassioned singing in his own particular. Somebody give me a hard time being old and stupid.
No, Crappy made a statement about Clapton being out of service in 72, and I'm saying, give him a break, Crappy.
Only just.
Jeepers. He was only just out of service.
He's having a holiday. Let's put it like that. I love the fact that things like, that it speeds up and slows down. There's definitely like tempo changes with it, especially the drums take it up. But I think that a couple of things struck me in this track, and and struck me in lots of these tracks, is that there's always taking it down, bringing it back. Start off really impassioned, really strong, lots of fiery guitar, and then you're taking it down. And the solo I noticed had, and I don't know, has got like pinch harmonics in it, isn't it? That first solo Messing with the Kid, it's got these. Now I don't know whether I've noticed pinch harmonics in. There must be people who are doing it before. I can't believe they weren't, but I kind of noticed it as a particular as a thing. Listen to this thing. Wow, look at that! It's dropped pinch harmonics. That's must be fairly unusual. I don't think of other players. I don't think of Jimmy Page particularly, or even does Clapton do pinch harmonics like that? Has he done them? I don't think he does. Does he a bit?
I mean, it might have been your cheeky one here or there from memory, but no, I can't think of an instance where that was
a thing. A
song. Yeah.
That struck me that it was clearly a thought through thing. It was clearly, he did it. You do it once, and it could be considered an accident. But you do it a few times. You think, oh, okay. So, I think it's that really struck me as being a thing. That the confidence to kind of take it back and just do this kind of pinched harmonics thing to give it some dynamic, really, because clearly, if you're on a 3-piece, you've got to work at the dynamics, haven't you? What do you do for dynamics? And because you have a confined palette of sounds and things you can do, combined by Roy Buchanan. Yes, that's true, Crappy. Yeah, but I don't remember hearing it particularly. I can't think of anybody who was doing it earlier. I don't know. I don't think of Paul Kossoff was doing it much. I don't think of Peter Green. Did he do it? I don't remember Peter Green doing it much either.
But, I'm trying to think time frame wise, because this is 72, but so I'm pretty sure this is 72. Billy Gibbons was doing it in 69. On the first record. Yeah. So there was people doing it, is what I'm saying. I just can't think of who would have been the.
No, that's right. And as I say, it struck me that it was a thing more than possibly. And when I went back and started thinking about other players who around at that time. I don't particularly remember anybody else doing it and thinking, "Oh, look, there's plenty." You're right, Billy Gibbons, of course, because they did it on their first album, didn't they? Which is what we did.
Yeah,
it's a thing, isn't it?
There was a swank. Called it Swank.
Swank. So, I think this is a great opener. I'm giving it a 9 out of 10 as a really good opening song. I think it sets the tone, sets the tempo, for what he's going to do, and shows us what he's about, really, as a player. And as I say, with and we'll get more into these later, but with the dynamics and stuff. So, Brad, what say you?
Andrew? It's Andrew next.
Well, Andrew next time.
Yeah. Rory Gallagher. The guy just says Rory Gallagher. Doesn't even say ladies and gentlemen.
There is a ladies and gentlemen in the background. It's like off mic.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, Rory Gallagher.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
It's a bit. Doesn't matter. But yeah,
I've been listening to Spotify and it's just Rory Gallagher. So they've obviously edited that. So what's really interesting about that is it's just simplicity, isn't it? Messing with the kids. So what have I got here? Unmistakable vocals. The vocals are very, very defined, aren't they? It's an Irishman singing. Clearly, he's not pretending to be. He's not pretending to be anything else other than an Irishman, which is the authenticity that we come to expect from authentic blues bands and musicians. And this guy is it. At the 132 mark, you've got that first solo, which is a nice little overdrive, just a nice little bit of overdrive. And at the 258, the second solo comes in, and then I counted 4 solos on this song, and it's the tale of 3 tones, because 4 solos, 3 different tones. And it's just, remarkable, because he doesn't have a bank of effects. There's no huge sound guy there. There's no big wall of stack. Someone mentioned it before. It's just a mic'd up AC30. But, it's a cliche, isn't it? We say that it's in the fingers, but clearly it is. It's in the tone, the rolling the tone off, and the treble, that the overdrive that he's using. Love the song. I'm going to mark this album with my rankings seriously, guys. And I messaged Brad earlier today when I went through my. I just messaged him saying that I've finished. So I'm giving this track a 9 out of 10. I originally wanted to give it a 10 out of 10, but I'm going to give it a 9, and I think it's a solid 9. And it's setting the tone well for what this album's going to be, but there's some great surprises in store. Brad.
Thanks, Andrew. I tried to listen to this record this week as if I was at the show, or at one of his shows, and I was imagining this was a set list. I wanted to try and capture that because it's a live, obviously a collaborative thing of different gigs over Europe. But I tried to imagine it was one gig and I'm sitting there listening and put it into context. So for me, I was like, this is a great opening song. He comes out, it's got like a really upbeat blues feel. For me, I could really hear some Johnny Winter vibes in it. I don't know if you've heard much Johnny Winter live, but I could hear it. I could hear it in there, especially with the rhythm section. They were really cooking, mate. Like, there was something going on there that was very apparent with rhythm sections in that era. They were all that. If they were blues bands, they were cooking. They were tight. Drums and bass solid as. There's some fantastic lead guitar workers. Andrew and Simon alluded to. The middle breakdown section's fantastic. It's he's demonstrating some great pinch harmonics, or as Billy Gibbons would call them, the squanks. And he was squanking, and some wonderful dynamics throughout the song as well. And I have to give the song a 10 out of 10. It's a kick-ass song, and I'm really enjoying it. I really enjoyed listening to this too, Simon. So I'm really grateful that you picked it.
Yeah, you never quite know with these things how much of a minority thing they are. But clearly he's Irish, not British, but he fits our electric blues remit very nicely, I think. And he's in with that that late 60s, early 70s blues boom that we spend a lot of time talking about. So so I completely agree.
Do we spend too much time talking about it, guys, or not?
Not too much. Most of our time.
You can never spend too much time talking about it. That's what I'm saying.
You can never spend too much time in 1970. Yes.
Give me a time machine any day. I'll go back.
Yeah, yes, absolutely. Yes. Go back to the nearly black and white world of 1970. Yes. Yes, a bit interesting. So track 2 is Laundromat, which is a Rory Gallagher original, which was written whilst he lived in Earl's Court, which is, as Andrew will tell us, is we used to be the alighting spot for any Australians that came to the UK, came to London. They would live in Earl's Court. It was known as the Australian Quarter, and you could go there and buy a camper van that had been they'd bought and gone round UK, Europe and stuff, and come back, and you could go and pick up a cheap one because they drive around Europe, then they come back and sell it in Earl's Court, and go home and sell it to another Australian who'd take it around again. Which is the thing. But again, starts off with kind of just that. I mean, it shows you Rory's command of the audience. He just starts stomping his foot. They start clapping along. Straight off as they kind of think, okay, which I think is that link with the audience is one of his strongest things, and that ability to to engage with them and hold them, is clear here, and I think that shows it very clear. And straight in with the. And I've heard this record a lot. So for me, it's a classic guitar riff. And off they go, and then into the singing. And there's a kind of that middle 80 bit which has got sort of like a bit more funky riff to it. It's really cool. And then he's got the solo as well, another impassioned kind of playing. But I noticed at 2:20 there's this little like run up and run down. It's on E, it's like a pentatonic on E, but it sounds really folky. It's got like an Irish folk tinge to it. Very. And for me, in that, just that little phrase, you think, oh, there's a bit of Irish folk, bit of folk influence in there, which is coming out, which clearly from his show band things. More pinch harmonics, I noticed in it as well. Again, that kind of taking it down. And then moving to the opening riff, then going to another. The things we've talked about in the past, that fit a lot in a 4-minute song kind of thing. You do something else, do a bit different, do a different dynamic, play it in a different way. So, but great track, and tremendous drumming at the end. And as you so rightly say, Brad, that the rhythm section cooking throughout this record, aren't they? I mean, they really are. Bass playing. I did notice when I watched him, Jeremy, playing with his volume control. When was the last time you saw a bass player play with his volume control? But he was this film I was watching yesterday was he was playing with his volume control. So taking it when they dropped down, he was taking his bass back and taking the volume down. Very unusual. Stop ragging on bass players. So for me, another 9 out of 10. Really great track. Really love it. Loads of energy, loads of zip. Great solos, and everything you'd want from a Rory track. Yeah, Brad.
Yeah, awesome.
Sorry, Andrew.
I've got on my notes here nice use of the cymbals on this track as opposed to the drumming on the opening track, which gives it a nice depth, which again has a crucial element to a 3-piece band. You've got to be able to do something with something, and the drummer clearly, whose name escapes me, I didn't make a note of that.
What's he called? Wilgar Campbell.
Wilgar Campbell.
Yeah, does a great job of the cymbals, and I've got a note here. The pinch harmonics, especially on this, it's just mind blowing. Love it, the way the delicateness, the gentleness that he's got of being able to do that. Pinch harmonics aren't easy. They're not an easy thing to do, you know. So to pull it out on command clearly shows that the guy is a master. I've given this, like Simon, a 9 out of 10. No disrespect to the album, but there are a couple of crackers on here, and I'm happy with my 9 out of 10. Never a skip. Brad.
For me, Laundromat, great swinging intro. The vibe of the song, obviously very up tempo. I love Rory's guitar playing, and I obviously noted his pinch harmonics as well, the squanking. Some kicking rhythm section performance in this one, and Rory's blistering through this. His solo's on fire. There's a lot of energy in this performance, and for me, I got a lot of I had to go back and listen to this one a couple of times over and over just to really sort of take it all in. And for me, I have to give it a 9 out of 10 as well, guys. It's a great song. If you're in a performance, say for example, this was the second song in, by this time you'd be you wouldn't be able to control yourself. You'd be nodding your head along. You'd be getting straight into it. You just could not get. It's relentless. So 9 out of 10 for me, guys. And
awesome.
Great track.
Never a skip.
Never a skip.
No, I think, it's interesting. So two really good kind of, rock blues openers kind of thing that do what they're supposed to do, don't they? I'm always keen on programming and, what tracks do in particular places and stuff. So definitely, absolutely what you'd expect from the first two tracks of a gig of some description. And I saw that. Yes, it's spilled. That's good. Very good. So track 3 is I Could Have Had Religion, which interesting. You obviously cleaned up the electric, just takes the drive off the electric, but still with the electric, but playing it much more as if it were kind of an acoustic guitar. Now, I don't know whether he changes guitar for this. I know he used to play a telly quite a lot with slide and things, so I'm not sure whether this is the telly or whether it's still the Strat. But that kind of just winding it off to take the was really good. For me, this is a fantastic track, and I think it's fantastic because it's a lesson in dynamics. It's a lesson in dynamics, a lesson also in rhythm and lead playing slide together and with passion and feel. I think the really cool thing that it has, it starts off just a bit of clean electric with harmonica. Stop it. I'm trying to be serious.
Is that punishment or reward?
Well, for him or for me, yes.
Back to work. Come on.
Come on. Sorry. Anyway, so yes, so it's a lesson in dynamics. It's a lesson in what a 3-piece, what you can really do when you really dig into a song and you dig into a story, which is clearly what it is, has a story to it and things. And so I, starting off and it's got harmonica as well, which is an extra kind of a piece of coloration to it. But you get the strum chord, and then you get the slide riff, then you get the verse with the singing and playing alternately, and you've just got that bass drum beat. You've got that slow strumming, dum, dum, dum. But again, it doesn't speed up, and it gives it a kind of hypnotic quality that I felt when I listened to it, a couple of 2 or 3 times, you start getting really drawn into the sound, and then you get drawn into what he's singing about, and it's got that slow blues rhythm, and as I say, it doesn't speed up, it doesn't, but what he does changes all the time. The slow strumming to the slides to, and he's got heavy chords under some of the singing, very melodic bass playing as well. Great bass playing from Johnny McAvoy, harmonica playing. He's got a long slide guitar solo with that hypnotic pulsing, going on behind him, and as I say, he's got from 4 minutes to 6:25. It's just that kind of doom with him playing the slide and things and doing fantastic stuff. And then he comes back in with the singing, and you've got a big ending. Always got a big ending, Rory. So for me, this is a 10 out of 10. This is the first 10 out of 10, so I give it. As I found it a kind of a lesson in dynamics and that kind of slow, hypnotic tempo that, keeps it under control, but draws you in, kind of, into it in a really cool way. That I think is a lesson to any, young guitarists and people, want us to understand what you can do with a trio. This is one of the things you can do with a trio.
Yeah.
Awesome. Laundromat. I've got sorry. I could have had religion.
Going back in time.
I've got harp and slide. Oh baby. I love it. It's one of the standout numbers on the album. I've given it a 10 out of 10 too. It's one of his mandatory recordings, in my opinion. Brett.
Look, great vibe. It's the open tunings. I've always loved a bit of slide playing and open tuning. It's got that low down blues feel. He's singing like he really means it. I don't want to touch too much more on what everyone else has done. The harmonica is a really nice touch. I find it really cool that he's actually doing the call and response thing with the harmonica and the guitar at the same time. So that's very talented. The way he does that at the end of the song, the slide solo, it's just really classy. I gave it a 9 out of 10, guys. I love the song. It was great, and never a skip.
Awesome.
Hooray.
Awesome.
It's okay. The last track on side one. Yes, I'm doing side one and side two, kids. So is a Pistol Slapper Blues, which is by Blind Boy Fuller. This is an excursion into the kind of Delta blues that really shows that Rory done his homework. He knows who these guys are. And he goes back to the acoustic stuff as readily as he goes back to the electric stuff. I saw an interview with him where he said, 1 week I'll listen to Chicago blues and stuff, and he said, but the next week I'll be going back to Delta blues and. Yes, Crappy, that's right, isn't it? Yeah, it is a totally different style to Clapton, Page and Co. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, his own thing, and that's quite hard. So yeah, this is going back to the sort of Delta blues acoustic guitar, just him. Bands don't play on it. Just opens with that complex kind of finger picking thing. I've watched him do it as well, so it's pretty cool. And then he does the verses, sings the verses over the strum chords. Quite pacey. It's got a lot of, it's got some zip to it. Got some, and then he does the finger picking interlude as well. So he does the finger picking between the singing and then the straightforward strumming through the courses, through the courses, chords and verses. That's it. It's a 9 out of 10 from me. Never a skip. I think it's a really good version of it, and I think it really zips along and shows, you can have lots of energy and lots of verve within an acoustic track just on your own.
Yeah, I agree with you,
Andrew.
Simon. We've got Jazz Thunder 50 in the chat. Thank you guys for joining us. Always a pleasure hanging out with you guys and adding your contributions and your rankings to our shows. Thank you very much. Wow, he's got some country licks also too, hasn't he? He's got some country licks in that intro. It's swamp stuff. but it's offering some authenticity. I think that only an Irishman, all these English cats do really, really well, and he knows the blues. This guy knows the blues, but I just can't help it, guys. I'll be interested to hear what Brad has to think. But when I first heard this about 4 days ago in preparation for the show, I just was immediately drawn to some kind of country link. Now, I don't know whether it's because I'm a closet bluegrasser here, the only bluegrasser on the show, but yeah, I love it. I love it because of that, and I've given it a 9 out of 10. And as the rock professor said, it's never a skip. Brad?
No.
Yeah, I picked up on the country sort of licks in there. Definitely, like bluegrassy sort of style. Cool open tuning acoustics. I mean, I love playing acoustics in open tunings. I actually prefer to strum along an acoustic open tuning than in standard. I always think it just has some dissonance that's it's wonderful, and he's playing on it so good. Wow, he's there's that fantastic little lead guitar solo he does in there. It's just great. What else did I put? He's great. He's singing great on it as well. And really, you know, I know Simon likes to touch on side A, side B. So a cool way to end side one. And I gave it a 9 out of 10. It's fantastic. Just Rory standing alone, playing on his own. It's great. Never a skip.
No. Keeping the interest, keeping the tempo, keeping
Brother?
keeping the yeah, really good. Yeah. So as we say, after a smooth landing on side 2, we go to Going to My Hometown, which is a traditional song arranged by Rory. Interestingly, he plays mandolin on this, not guitar. Gets his mandolin out, which he certainly did when I saw him, but I sort of forgotten in a way. It was quite good, really. But I'd forgotten that, again, completely different colour. Mandolin, completely different instrument to, electric guitar, acoustic guitar. So, a completely different vibe and colour to it. Very much a kind of country blues song with folk inflections, using the mandolin. But again, he sets off at pace, doesn't he? It's not kind of slow. It's got it's up tempo, keeping the energy levels up. I think the bass playing is really good, giving it lots of colour. Lots of bottom end below the mandolin, keeping it interesting. Texture, dynamics again. And he starts off doing the singing a cappella before he comes in, and then you got the bass drum beat. And the audience clap straight away, don't they? Again, keeping the beat, keep all the way through. By the way, all the way through, they clap all the way through on a mandolin song. It's. I think that in itself is a bit of a tribute to Rory's ability to understand an audience and understand, if I'm going to do these things, this is how I'm going to do them. The bass comes in and out and kind of drifts in and out. Sometimes it plays and sometimes it doesn't. It's not playing all the time. Again, the audience play all the way through. Do you have a verse with just mandolin and voice? And then you have the bass comes in and it kind of picks up. Then that thing about dropping the bass and drums down at 4:30. So it's just the mandolin, and he starts humming just over the mandolin. Very simple bass, and so. This is a 9 out of 10 for me. I think it's again another tremendous lesson in dynamics. What you can do with a mandolin, a bass, and drums, and how you can make it really interesting, sustained interest over nearly 6 minutes. With by understanding about the dynamics, dropping things in and out, things clapping and stuff. So 9 out of 10 for me. Never a skip, and a tremendous way to start side 2.
This song has got some good advice. One of the lyrics says, "Get a job, son. Get a job, son." That's always good advice. Any song that says "Get a job, son's" good advice.
I'll tell you a story about that in a minute.
None of your no. We know about your stories.
I promise. Clean story.
Oh,
true story.
okay.
True story.
Yeah, get a job, son. Get a job, son. Look, I love the mandolin. It's he's just playing chords. He's not playing any scales. He's not, ripping up and down the mandolin neck. Using that percussion, that percussive strumming, which is really, really good on a mandolin. If you can play the mandolin, you don't need to do much, and it's just a wonderful instrument. Goes back to obviously his roots. He's an Irishman, and they love that, don't they? They love the mandolin. Look at the Scots-Irish in America. We're just having a bit of a chat in the comments here about bluegrass and country and all that. The Stones have been influenced by it. Obviously, this album here too, this song here is influenced, I think, probably more. And we haven't made those connections yet. So I look forward to more shows about how this connection, this song, and Rory's influence with the acoustic side of him has on players. We know clearly the guitar has had a big influence. Look forward to some more shows. Look, guys, I've given this a 9 out of 10. I love the song. I think it's fantastic. And I've made a note here too that the addition of the clapping is really, really good. And it's good that the Europeans can clap in time, because apparently they can't. So on this recording, on this song, they have.
Clearly.
Well done.
That was 3 hours of rehearsals before the gig started to get him to that.
Brad.
Europeans can't clap.
A true New Zealander, that's all I'll say.
We'll never get asked back to the European Union at this rate.
All right, so for me, the mandolin, man, he's strumming the hell out of that thing. He's not playing delicate on that thing. You can really hear it. He's strumming like anything on that mandolin. I really enjoy like how the kick drum comes in and the bass accents in the spots where it does, and sounds like he has the whole crowd clapping and stomping along with him. It's some really cool dynamics, some great singing, but it's great. The crowd interaction gives it lots of energy and lots of excitement, and I gave it a 9 out of 10 as well. It's never a skiff.
Awesome, brother.
I just on the subject of get a haircut. My brother, when he was about 19, went and built boats in Maine, Portland, Maine, in the US, and he went with another guy from the shop. They went to buy a sandwich at lunchtime, and they were in the queue. And this other guy had long hair down to his waist, and apparently this little kid came up to him and looked up at him and said, "Get a haircut, get a job." I already got a job. I don't need a haircut. Go away. Get a haircut, get a job.
I got a similar story, but I'll tell you guys about my story off air.
Is it a potty mouth one?
Does it contain bad language, Mr. Walton? Does it?
It's political, so
okay.
Political.
Yeah. But it's related to
getting a job.
Haircut.
Yeah, getting a job. Yeah. All right. Sorry, audience, you're not going to get it. Brad and I will vet it for suitability. We might let Andrew loose with his stand-up routine next week. So the second track on side 2 is "In Your Town," which is again probably the centerpiece, the other centerpiece of the album. Nearly at 10 minutes long. It's again, this is back to the electric. It's full band back on. Again, I would say this is such a great lesson in dynamics for a 3-piece. You start off with the riff and the drums, then you come in with the bass, then you've got singing, you've got driving bass and drums, and then you have a slide riff, and then you do a new instrumental break into a slide solo, and then at 2:30 you start getting a breakdown. So take it down after 2.5 minutes, and drums and bass maintain the pace and the rhythmic pulse, but quieter, turning down. And then you've got, again, at 3:45, you get a breakdown, bass and drums quieter. It draws you in as a listener, draws you into what's going on in the song, what's happening. And you've got then singing over single strummed chords. You've got kind of throbbing bass and a military style drumming, kind of section, which is, again, different to what they were doing at the beginning. It's clear, it's a hypnotic story, and you get it's atmospheric, you get dynamic playing, you get drawn in. You've got slide notes for color, and you've got like a crescendo at 6:20, and then you drop back to just a solo slide guitar. 7:05, drums and bass back in with the slide, and then you're gradually building more insistence, and then again 7:55 fade out. And the band come in, full driving beat, and system, bass, and a solo slide, and slide break to the end. And as I say, this is a 10 out of 10 for me. I think it's a fantastic piece of how you construct 10 minutes of dynamics and interest and pace out of a 3-piece. I think it's a masterclass. I think you can do a Walton word. It's a masterclass in how to do that. How you can do it with a 3-piece, and I absolutely love it as a track. I think it's fantastic, and I think it's a 10 out of 10 for me. And the centerpiece of probably the two centerpieces, but this is the centerpiece of side 2 for sure.
Yeah, I've highlighted that too, Simon, as a standout. The aggressive slide solo on this song is just so different from, say, for example, Duane Allman's technique, which is. And he's playing slide around the same time too. So it's just a wonderful contrast, isn't it? We've done a few shows where Duane Allman is featured on a few tracks. We love Duane Allman, and it just blows me away when you can sit down and get something that's just completely different. That solo at 6:45 is mind blowing. It's worth its album price or the gig price just to see something like that. We all love slide on this show. We talk about it often. We acknowledge it. I play a little bit of slide, open tuning, and if you're playing it basically, it's great. If you're doing three chord blues, it's fine because you know where it is. And but the difficulty of it is being able to slide into the note and slide out, and remember where the scales are to give it that depth. Some guys don't even do that; they just play it. And Rory Gallagher is one of those guys. I remember reading an article where he said he doesn't know scales. Doesn't know that stuff, just plays by ear. And I believe him because there's some guitar players out there who say they don't know that, and we know they bullshit, but this guy is telling the truth. 10 out of 10. Brad.
Wow. I love this one. The stomping blues feel on this. I always say what I call like a stomping blues. It's like the song stomping along. That's what I mean by stomping blues. The band is really cooking. They're really tight. The performance is tight. I love the bass line. It's like almost the same thing throughout the whole song, but it works perfectly. Like it's amazing is what I'm saying. And he moves around a little bit, but the majority of it's the same thing all the way through the song. The slide playing is fantastic. I don't know about you guys, but I'm hearing some Johnny Winter, some ZZ Top slide playing, even Jimmy Page a little bit to an extent, his slide playing as well in amongst this. Like I'm hearing snippets of all these players throughout it, and it's like a bit of a journey. Although I put here it's a real journey, this song, in my notes. So I gave it a 10 out of 10 and never a skip.
No. Interesting that, isn't it? that I don't know whether, I'm not sure that Rory was ever kind of necessarily influenced by those things, but they clearly come from the same wellspring, don't they, of whoever they were listening to slide-wise.
I don't even know if he was influenced by them, but I can hear it in there. So obviously those being around at the same time frame, crossing over, you hear other musos, you subconsciously influenced by them. So that might be the point.
Yeah. It's interesting. Yeah, be interesting to see where they all, because I can't really think back where they might have all got it from. Slide players, somewhere. But anyway, fantastic track. Centerpiece of the thing, and you can really just get into it, get drawn into it. So anyway, the short album this week. The last track is Bullfrog Blues, which is a traditional arranged by Rory Gallagher. I've listened to an old version by somebody Harris. I remember his first name, but he plays it as a sort of fast rock and roll thing. It's like like a rock and roll blues song. Yeah, perfect ending to a concert. I think it's really up tempo. Starting off. Well, did you ever? And really good chorus, great chorus with those bullfrogs on your mind. Whatever that means. So I'm giving this a 10 out of 10. I think I've loved this track for years and years. I play it sometimes, sing it to myself when I'm mooching about, whenever I see a frog or whatever. I love the fact that it's got the slide solo. I love the fact that taking it down, you don't need a doctor, you don't need going off to New Orleans. Again, it's another song with a story, what you've got and then what you need to do to cure it. And it has clearly a bass solo and a drum solo. But the good thing about those is that kind of, showcase the two musicians, but they only go on for about 30 seconds each. So, and that's always a good thing in my books. So, really good fun. I didn't get bored with it. So, 10 out of 10 from me. Never a skip. Love it as a song because of that up tempo, kind of good time feel to it. Andrew.
Okay, I've used the Spotify version, Simon, and I've ranked 2 other songs before Bullfrog. So I'll quickly.
Oh, I know. Yes, on the sorry, apologies. On the yes, they're right. There's a reissued version with 2 other songs on it, aren't there?
Yeah. Sure. So, What in the World? Okay. So we've got a new tone. We've got a new tone on this track compared to the other tracks. So I don't know what's happened there, but there's something remarkable about the guitar tone. If you guys want to check that out. And the solo for me, it's the best solo on the recording. I've given the solo, the song 100 out of 10, guys. So
whoa.
Yeah. I think it's if you guys want to check out the Spotify version, I think it's amazing. I don't know if Brad's scored that. And it's easy blues and C, and that's one of the great things that Simon mentioned at the start of the show. If you know skiffle, if you know blues, everyone can play it, and that's one of the great things about the song is that it's easy blues, but it's been blown away out of the water. So I've given that. Brad scored it, Simon, and Hoodoo Man. Again, I've given that 9 out of 10, Simon. In particular because of the bass. I just love the bass. For once, out of all the tracks, you couldn't really hear the bass, but on this track, it's a standout. So whether or not, as Simon said, maybe he's turned the bass up really, really loud on his volume. So I've given this a 9 out of 10. And Bullfrog, I have to agree with Simon. So one thing that I really, really connected with Simon and Brad, and I'll be interested to hear what you guys say or think. It's in completely the same energy and intensity levels as the first track on the album. I can't see, it's not a completely different song, which is, what a lot of albums do. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I just think it's a great thing that you've just ended the album with the same knockout punch that the album began with. and I've given it, Simon, a 10 out of 10. Brad.
Yeah.
Wow, I'm going to go check those other tracks out, Andrew. I didn't
me too.
listen to the Spotify version. I just listened to the CD.
Yeah. See, I just
sorry,
remember
guys.
the version I had.
No, that's no. I'm looking forward to going and investigating those. So I haven't heard them. I haven't heard the Spotify version, but that's great. Thanks for letting us know that, Andrew. But for Bullfrog Blues, I just put like a great album closer, another fine blues feel, great energy throughout the performance. I put Rory's slide playing is smooth. It's like almost liquid over the top of the band. At 2:55 minutes, the solo's epic. Nice breakdown and bass solo. It's not out of place. Highlights the bass player, and the drum solo is great. Again, it doesn't go too long. I love how they come back in from that section. At 5 minutes 18, there's some great dynamic guitar playing. It's kick-ass. I gave it 10 out of 10. Never a skip.
Yeah. I'll get apologies, Andrew. I should have said yes. As I just went with the one I had, which has only got the 9 tracks on it and not. Oh, wait a minute. That's interesting. Anyway, okay, yeah. So a fantastic record, I think, and a fantastic showcase to what what Rory was about, really. And I hope it's, if nothing else, it's a gateway into that, and a gateway into looking at other stuff, other things by him. I mean, certainly Tattoo is a really good record. I'd recommend that as a much more varied. It's not all blues. It's much more varied and has keyboards on it as well. So it's a kind of different thing. But
check out the Irish tour, the DVD. It's on Amazon if you guys have got it. It's remarkable. It's they're just in the back of this hall. There's nothing flash going on. There's no catering. Well, there is a bit of catering. They're tuning by ear. They don't have any. There's no $1,000 tuners. And you can see Rory. He's nervous as heck, isn't he? He's just. It's phenomenal. My appreciation for him just went up 20 levels when I saw that VHS. It just blew me away. I love seeing VHSs. I love seeing clips, and it just tells a different story, doesn't it?
Yeah. That Irish Tour 74 is an extraordinary record. The background to it is extraordinary because Ireland was in that midst of sectarian violence, and Belfast was a sort of war zone of cars being blown up, and the army on the streets and things, and and he was basically the only musician who played in Belfast, and he played every year. He would go every year and play, and and he was kind of recognised by both sides of the sectarian divide, that he was doing the music thing, and so they let him do it, kind of thing, and there was kind of the rules, you didn't try and blow up Rory Gallagher, kind of thing, if I can put it as crudely as that. But it is an extraordinary document of there is a film, isn't there, Tony Palmer film of that gig, and of course clearly the people from Belfast absolutely loved him because he was the only person who would come and play. Van Morrison wouldn't go and play, Thin Lizzy, none of those guys would go and play, in their hometowns. So it was down to Rory, and he didn't disappoint.
And there's a cool documentary film that came out a couple of years ago too, and his brother features in it. Is it Fergal? His brother's is his name Fergal? Donald. That's it. Donald. And he's just remarkable, just a remarkable guy himself. Just the way that he talks about his brother and the way that he offers opinions, and underrated guitarist. And if we can do something with our little bit of YouTube territory and raising the flag for Rory, we've done well, guys.
Yeah. I think the thing to say about he strode his own path. He never looked back. Probably formed one of the first power trios. I mean, Taste. Probably Taste might even predate Hendrix. Probably as a sort of 3-piece blues power trio. possibly. You know, he. I can't imagine somebody. Well, I did read that clearly he went and auditioned for the Rolling Stones, but apparently he was also David Coverdale's second choice to replace Richie Blackmore in Deep Purple, which I find a bit very extraordinary. But you know, as ever with Rory, chose to make it. Chose to tread his own path and do his own thing and not get involved in bands where he would be a sideman and not the main man, because clearly, as I said earlier, despite of his diffidence and his sort of shyness, it needed to be his band, didn't it? He was the man, singer, player, did all those things, and to be able to get all the things that he liked, the mandolin, the acoustic stuff, the Delta blues, the Chicagos, get all those things in was really important to him, and clearly he wouldn't have been able to do that if he'd been playing in Deep Purple. Also, the first of his generation to not use Marshall stacks in favour of Vox, particularly, also Fender stuff, which I think is another piece in the jigsaw of I tread my own path. I've got my sound, I know how it works, and it isn't that. So that's it's. I think that that thing about treading your own path, being true to yourself, being as a musician and as a person, and doing what you do, that was the important thing for Rory and about Rory Gallagher, really. So for that, sticking to your own vision, your own path, 100 points, for that top man.
Awesome. Appreciate that, Simon. If you guys haven't already subscribed to our Instagram accounts that's related to this channel, you need to, because that's how we release any records that we are going to rank next week. So is it your choice, Brad?
I think it may be.
Yes, it is, because I did Beggars Banquet. And Simon, okay, so Brad's going to, so you guys need to check out Brad Cook at Brad Cook Music. And within the next couple of days, Brad will drop something on there for the album that we're going to do. We're going to have a chat and talk about whether or not we're going to do a midweek special for ZZ Top or do it on a Sunday show, but something's going to come up because Dusty is an important part of our show and the music that we love. So keep in touch with us. We'll let you know how we're going to do that. We might have some unboxings, so that's always a good thing to do on the channel. So we'll look forward to that. I'm going to pass it on to Brad and then the Rock Professor to say goodbye and pass on their final words. Really cool to hang out with you guys. I love this album. Go and check out Irish Tour and check this album out if you guys haven't done it. It's mandatory. You got to do it. Brad.
Yeah, well, thanks everyone for joining us. Lots of people in the chat. Been going through and having a look at the chat as well. And again, like Andrew said, please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers by the end of December. We need you guys to help us. So that would be fantastic. If you haven't already, subscribe, share our episodes on your Facebooks and ask people to join. That's a simple way to do it. Just if there's an episode that you really love, share it and just go, hey guys, check this out. Please subscribe to these guys. Help. That's how we're going to grow. That's we're trying to do it organically, and it's through you guys, and we really appreciate all you for joining us. Simon.
We do, yes. So I'm going to say thanks to Simon Hosford and Hugh Caldwell. Thanks, Hugh. Drops Family Garden. Nelson, of course. Rodriguez. Sonia, Crappy Luxury. Ellen, Forest Run. Thanks, Ellen. John, ZD351. Hi, John. How you doing? Late and unprepared. Oh, well, no worries, John. It's fine. Hope you're good. Sonia, thanks, Sonia. What else we got? Hugh Caldwell. I think I mentioned Hugh. Crappy Luxury. Nelson. We get a few people further up. Johnny Bean. Jimmy Ray Hawkins, thanks, Jimmy, for joining. Johnny Bean from earlier. So I think that's... And Arvin, of course. Thanks, Arvin. Hope you're good. So, yeah, thanks, everyone, for joining. It's been really good. I hope you enjoyed Rory Gallagher, and go and check him out, because he's a unique player and a unique man. Deserves attention and our respect for being a top player. Yeah. So
thanks, John,
thanks very much, guys.
Thanks, John, for joining us. We're going to split. You'll have to. What's happened to Simon? You'll have to check the show out, John. But it's always a pleasure. We always have to acknowledge a very good friend of the channel. He's always going to get either a shout out at the beginning or at the end. Cancer sucks. Cancer sucks. Cancer sucks. We've got a good friend. We all know who he is. His name is Warren. He's going through some treatment. And as usual, we always want to do a special shout out to Warren. We love you, bro. We miss you when you're not in the chat. And we're thinking about you, and we're praying for you, brother. So we look forward to seeing you.
Definitely. I think Simon's got something he wants to share.
Oh no, that's right. I was going to say, Spot. Here's my Rory Gallagher tribute strat. Not really, but spot the deliberate mistake. the digital tuner. Rory wouldn't have had any truck with that.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
No.
Absolutely not. Just quickly, guys. I there was in Melbourne here in a town called Geelong. There was a music store there that had a Rory Gallagher custom shop Strat, and I just gravitated to it because I liked the paint. It was custom shops that was done the same. It was relics of the same. Felt really good to play. Like the neck actually felt really, really cool. It only had a 3-way switch in it, which I thought, I don't know why it didn't have a 5-way switch. But geez, I tell you what, it sounded great. It was a really, really nice, really nice guitar. And there's something about a guitar that's that relics and that look. I mean, you're buying. It's funny that you got to spend that much money on a custom shop that's relic. But,
it's been dragged out of the car park. Yes.
what I'm getting at, what I'm trying to get at here is, Simon, you need to play the hell out of that thing, mate, to get it anywhere near.
I've only had it for 33 years.
You got to start putting some more miles on it then.
It's subtly checking, but it's not a nitro finish one. It's just
that's the
look. There's the war damage. What more do you want?
That's the what do we call it? Yours is the before version. Yours is the before version.
Yeah, before nearly new. You can't have a guitar that's 33 years old, be nearly new. This is vintage, mate. Vintage.
Awesome.
Yeah,
all right, thank you, guys. Thank you, Warren.
Yeah. Guys, and we'll see you next. We'll see you next Sunday. Yeah.
Don't forget to subscribe to Brad's Instagram to find out the album that we're doing.
Whoa.
Or what we're doing next week. We don't even know what we're doing next week.
We're too busy prepping for this week. It's fine.
Yeah. See you guys.
Guys, take care.